Hi there, welcome to Core Leadership Sessions. I am Maria Kast with Core Leadership Development, and I want to welcome you to my monthly training whereby I will be interviewing different leaders in the community who will be sharing their best practices, their insights, and their leadership principles that help them to become a success, because they really want you to be a success in both your business and your career. So I encourage you to check back here at this Core Leadership Sessions channel and gain some insight and definitely get some value from them, because they are here for you and want to pour into you, as do I. So enjoy this next Core Leadership Session. I am here with Cheryl Nelan from CMIT Solutions on Browncroft Boulevard. And this CMIT Solutions is really a place where you can get the best IT support, because I'm going to tell you what I read about CMIT is that you are listeners. You listen so that you can formulate an IT plan that will help the customer just by listening and understanding what their needs are so it can move them forward. So Cheryl really says that, and I believe it, is that she leads the best IT team in Rochester. So welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And thank you for pouring into our core community and helping to share your leadership principles, because who we're talking to today are people who are either emerging leaders, they're business owners that are either just starting out or they're at some journey along the way, some journey along the path, and they really want to hear what are some leadership principles that I can implement that I'm hearing from someone who, like you, has stepped out of the box, is an entrepreneur, and is leading a company and a team of IT support. So share with me, what is your number one leadership philosophy that you really attribute your success to?
Well, I think it really boils down to trust. Leadership is a lot of things, but at the end of the day, I learned a long time ago to just trust. I trust that most people really want to do a good job. They want to be successful in their careers, and they're not out there to undermine you, right? If you give them the tools that they need to be successful, they will try their best to do so. So leadership isn't about pushing somebody to do something that they don't want to do. It's about enabling them to do the things they do want to do and to be successful in however they define success for themselves.
Right. So trust has to go both ways, right? So you need to trust your team to be able to empower them, right? Yeah. And they need to trust you as a leader. So that really is so important. So what are ways in which you display that for your team? Like, what do you do? What characteristics do you have that they know, I trust her. I trust Cheryl to be able to follow her in her vision for CMIT.
I think it's openness, making it easy to be open on both sides. So I share what's going on in the business, the good and the bad. Whenever we get reviews from our clients, for instance, every single one of them, the entire staff sees, and we see the comments and we talk about them. My staff everybody's encouraged to, raise your hand. You see something not right, or you have a question, you're not sure how to do something, there's never a bad question. So we just, I trust them that, I'm going to give some direction. They're trusting me that that direction is a good path. I'm sharing enough about the business so they understand the connection between what it is that they do and the success of the business and how they can even help us be more successful. And then, I trust them to just go do their job, to do what they do best. I don't know how to be a technician. They're much, much smarter than I am on that side. So why would I tell them, go do this, that, and that? I just say, hey, here's the end result. Go get it done, and they do, and they know that they can just raise a hand, and nobody's gonna say, "What do you mean you didn't know how to do that? You should know." No, oh, you didn't? Okay, let's see what we need to do here.
Yeah. So transparency. So I find that with transparency, people trust you more as well, right? Because sometimes in organizations we look at a leader and we think, oh, you know what, they've got it all together, right? Here I am, they've got it all together. When the leader is transparent with the people, they tend to get more connection and more trust from their employees as well. And I really love that you empower your employees, right? Because that goes back to development. So entrusting them and empowering them to move forward. So that really helps your business grow, right? Because
Absolutely.
It's an innovative type of business, and you need to be able to hear from other people as well.
Right.
Right.
And the trust, there's a third element, is our clients. You know, so our clients need to be able to trust my staff, and I need to trust that the staff is doing right by the clients as well. So it's a three-way triangle, so to speak, but we all work together on that.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, you know, was there ever a time, like you say, trust is the major thing? Was there ever a time when you really had a situation where there wasn't trust? And what did you have to do? You know, when you felt either with an employee or anything along that lines?
You know, once somebody's been working here, we don't seem to have that issue. I'd say that the biggest thing is a learning curve when somebody starts here. So we say those words. Unfortunately, a lot of people say those words, but they don't exhibit those behaviors. So a lot of times people come here and wherever their past had taken them, they weren't used to that openness. They weren't used to that, hey, the boss isn't always in the office. That's just not watching what I'm doing all the time. Really, you could goof off all day long. I trust that you're not going to, and I trust you're going to be getting things delivered. So that's a little bit of a change for some folks, depending on where they've come from. So I think the only time we really run into a problem is the first few weeks, and trying to, you know. So we're here. We actually changed one of our own policies to help enable that, because what it used to be, you don't have to come in here every day and work. There's no, you know, the office is here if you need it. But if you want to work from home, or my staff is often at clients' places, we're not always in the office all the time. And what we found is when the new employee came in, they didn't feel that culture of trust, right? They didn't know it. It was new. And so we actually started, okay, first 3 months you have to come in the office, and we'll all come in, and we'll give you that warm fuzzy and help you feel the culture.
Right.
And that's really what made the difference there.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, because if someone's not used to that and they're coming in and they're kind of just off on their own, they're thinking, gosh, am I missing something there, or is this really truly how it is? And
and can I really say something that I don't think is right? You know, please do, because that's how we learn. So
okay. So along that lines, you must have like get-togethers? You have monthly meetings or whatever, where you get together where people are able to voice.
Oh, absolutely.
And
we're in touch daily. We use Slack as a IM tool, so everybody's always chatting in there and saying, hey, I have this. Has anybody seen that? So both from a technical side and work side, as well as personal. You know, hey, how was your weekend, kind of thing. So we're constantly in touch with each other. And then once a month we get together and we have a staff meeting. We have some lunch brought in, and we have some social times as well. So we all get to know each other and have that opportunity to sit down, debrief on what's gone on, what's going on, how's the business changing. I share how the business is doing, so folks understand that, and they share what they're seeing out in the field as well. So it's a great time together.
Right. So okay, you came out of corporate, and so how about for that person that is listening in that wants to know, you know what, here I am in corporate, and I really just have this desire to move forward and do something on my own. So if you go back to when you were in corporate and you were starting to make this transition, what was that like, and what would you say to that person that really wants to take the bull by the horns and do something different? What would your advice be to them?
So it was an interesting migration for me. You know, I was always kind of in the back of my head, oh, I'd love to see if I could do this, if I could run my own business. I didn't know what that business would be, and there were a lot of fears around that. You know, do I really have what it takes? I think I should lead a team this way, but I've worked in many different organizations that had different ideas on how to lead. So what if that way isn't successful? So I think if you're going to think about going out on your own, you've got to be true to yourself first. Think about what it is you want out of the business, not so much what is that business going to be, but why do you want it? What are you looking for? For me, I was looking for the challenge, and the knowledge that, hey, if I lead a team the way I want to lead a team, can we be successful? I want it to build relationships with clients, and have that trust. And I wanted trust to be kind of the foundation of a business, which is not the corporate way usually. You know, there's some great leaders in there, but not generally the corporate way. So I felt for myself I could get in. I had lots of job offers. I had things I could do. Probably make more money than I'm making running a business. But so I needed to know and define what that that look like if I was going to be successful, and then I had to define metrics that were gonna prove to me along the way, cause it's not like you open up a business and day one you're successful.
Yeah.
It takes time, it takes years usually to really build, so you've gotta figure out what kind of metrics are going to, reward you for your small successes along the way.
Yeah, yeah. So this is cool. So trust came up a few times. So I want to make sure everyone's hearing this. So first of all, you needed to trust yourself. So in the beginning, it's like just trust myself and trust that intuition that, you know what, I'm thinking I want to do this. Now, how do I set that plan forward? Right? So trusting yourself and knowing also, like, what is your end result? What is your intention? Which is what you did. You said, first of all, I need to trust myself. Then I need to put trust as one of the goals in her business. And so it's what you built, but you started at the beginning with that idea and that intention of trust. So that's huge. Yeah, I love that. You know, the other question I have for you is looking back now too, what would you tell yourself? Now, how many years has it been since you left corporate?
8 years now.
Okay, 8 years. Awesome. Yeah, so you're like, 8 years, and she's got a huge smile on her face. Yeah, so there's a place for corporate. You know, if you're in corporate, that's fantastic. But if you've got that little desire, if you've got that entrepreneurial spirit, and you're thinking, I want to do something more, or I feel like I'm created to do something more, then that's where you start to really look into what should I do? What am I good and passionate about? And how do I want to build that, right? So what would you say to yourself, knowing what you know now? What would you say to yourself 8 years ago when you were first starting out? Maybe a new piece of advice, or what do you wish you knew then, what you know now?
So you're gonna laugh because it's gonna be the same answer again.
Yeah,
and you said it just a minute ago. I first had to learn to trust myself, and trusting myself was probably the hardest hurdle for me. Those self-doubts just can crumple anybody, but for me, I anything goes wrong, I will examine it and rethink it and generally blame myself. And I should have done that, I should have said this, whatever. And what that does on the looking forward side is it goes, okay, I think this is a good idea, but what if? So I think if I were to look back to myself, the biggest thing is I would have said just trust yourself. Just go for it. Put the things in place that you need to put in place. So you know you're doing the right things, have a plan, but take a leap of faith that you've got the experience, you know a lot of stuff, it's in there, just trust your gut and go with it.
Yeah, that's good. So you were saying that what if, I say that a lot too, or I used to. And so what I learned from one of my mentors was when you have that idea, instead of saying what if, say how can I? Right?
Exactly.
And I'm like, ooh, that's a great way to reframe that question. Instead of what if this, what if that, just say how can I? So that is just a wonderful piece of advice, and I really appreciate you pouring into the community today and allowing them to hear some great leadership principles. So trust is the word of the day from Cheryl Nelan, and I'm expecting that you're all going to go ahead and trust yourselves. And here's the deal: is trust. If you want to break out and do something different and build a business and be a leader within the business, trust yourself, and then trust the people around you. Surround yourself with people that you can trust. But more importantly, if you want to stay where you're at and you just want to move up in your leadership within the organization you're in, if you're in corporate America or you're in another business, then that's the same thing. Trust yourself enough to know that your voice counts and be able to share what it is that's on your heart that you want to do to move forward with where you're at. So thanks again, Core Community, for tuning in, and we'll see you next month.